Just what's your overall assessment of your game today and kind of just the first half?
Yeah. It was great to be back out there for one. I thought the guys around me played their butts off. It was fun getting into a game with Cougs. In training camp practice, you get a couple like non-scripted periods. So it was fun to kind of get in the flow, get in a rhythm. Man, we did a great job on that first drive. Got to take care of the ball. But shoot, I felt like we handled our business out there. We drove down, got points. I think it was, 16 or 17 in the first half. Guys were making plays. We were able to run the ball, which was huge. Man, we played pretty well in that first half. Guys were making the plays, and when the opportunities came to them, and that was, what you preach to everybody in preseason. For the guys that haven't played or getting their first couple of games, like you're going to get opportunities. It's just what you do with them when they come your way. And I thought guys were making the best of them.
How'd you feel about the protection that you had in front of you? You had
Yeah.
guys out there like Gray that are playing in their first game, but it seemed like those guys are really controlling the line of scrimmage.
No, they did it.
Pro in the run game.
They did a fantastic job. You can kind of get a tell on how protection is when you see the run game happen, busting out big runs, and in return when I got to draw back and pass, I had a pretty clean pocket. Makes it easy for me. I appreciate those guys up front. It was cool to be back out there with Abe. Cool to be out there with Gray, and it's been a couple years since I've been with Abe. It was fun to be back out there with familiar faces and guys that you've once played with. I thought those guys up front did a great job.
The coach mentioned a play early on where they brought down a safety, and a look you guys hadn't repped a ton yet, and you guys were able to handle it. I think it was on a run play, but to kind of see that group work out a situation like that in the preseason, get that block, and I think he mentioned Oots might have been the one to get Crosby on that play too. What'd you think of the work of that group as they kind of mixed and matched and had pieces come together for it?
Being able to, to be a group that doesn't necessarily always go together, right? You're throwing different tackles in, different guards in, different centers in, and you go out and, like you said, Max was out there, Chin was out there. They got some good players out there in those first couple drives. For us to be able to run the ball like we did, for them to communicate up front on different fronts, different looks than, you're going off of last year's preseason games and the year before preseason games, and getting a couple different looks up front for them to be able to communicate and, keep the run game alive. That's really impressive.
You mentioned that run game. Line it up under center, I formation, the fullback behind you. It's maybe not something we see a ton in the NFL. What do you like about that look?
Oh, man, it's, in a way, you get under center and you can pound the run like we did, and in return get some play action out of it. In return, some under center drop back. It's how it used to be played quite often, and us being able to do that, it's got to be, tough for defenses to. We're under center. It's not always run. We can pass out of it. It's not always play action. We're going to drop back. It's not always pass. We're going to run. It's good complementary football, and it definitely helps us.
What do you make out of Tory's night, seeing him out there? It seems like he's got a little something to his game and kind of seeing it play out like it did. But what is it about his skill set that leaves an impression with you?
Yeah. You hate to say it this early, but what he went out and did tonight was everything I expected of him to go out and do, based on how he's been performing in training camp. Just a really, really solid player. Runs the right routes, goes up and gets contested catches, and when the ball gets in his hand, he makes the plays. It's high praise for a rookie. He's still got a long way to go. But, man, he's on the right track and works hard. If he keeps working hard and keeps doing what he's doing, he can be a really good football player.
Drew, I know Pete and Geno are guys who've meant a lot to you in your career. What was it like getting to see both of them before the game?
It was really cool. Really cool. I got to spend some more time this offseason with Geno, throwing in Miami with him. So it felt like it hadn't been too long since I'd seen him, get to be around him, but seeing Pete was really cool. Like I've mentioned before, he's meant a lot to me, and, building the confidence back after being traded. I really appreciate him, and he's definitely a major part of, my football journey.
What do you think of Jalen Milroe?
Yeah.
His reps.
Big J. He's fast. He's really fast. Really fast. And, you definitely saw that tonight. Made great decisions with the ball in his hand as far as passing goes. Like I mentioned, when you get into, I mentioned this to him, getting into those fourth quarter preseason games, it's all about still making the right decisions, right footwork, right reads. And I from the sideline, I felt like he did that tonight. He did a great job, and I was proud of him.
Anything else? Thank you.
Yep.